is Barks to Basics with Jamie Diaz. I'm your host, Jamie. So today is really important. I know it was eye-opening for me to talk to you guys about mental stimulation with your dogs. I actually have a list here because there's so many things that I didn't want to forget, which means that I am going to have to use my readers. But I think it's super important. And I know that my dogs growing up had nothing. They were probably so bored. We didn't have Kongs. We didn't have stuffed toys. I mean, maybe they were around, but I definitely did not use them. My family didn't use them. The dogs just really sat there. Now, that being said, there are a lot of dogs that are fine just sitting there, right? My dog just sleeps all day. He's great. Well, think about like an older person, right? We all have those grandparents that are great grandparents that are super active and they still walk every day and they're in their 80s and doing stuff. And then we also have those grandparents that do not want to do anything. They're sitting on the couch to walk around. It's just too much for them. Well, the grandparents that are moving around a lot, they tend to live longer. They tend to have better lives. And, you know, there's that saying, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Well, it's similar for dogs because they're just sitting there doing nothing, especially young dogs, older dogs especially. So mental stimulation is something you can do for your dogs that will enrich their lives, whether they're a puppy or a senior dog. That being said, some of the things that it does help with is preventing boredom. So our dogs, even though they're sleeping all day, you know, sometimes if I'm bored, I'll go to sleep and take a nap, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean, oh, they're great, they're just sleeping. We want to prevent that boredom. Also for boredom for dogs that are adolescents, that are super hyper or active, when they're bored, they're going to get into trouble. So it prevents boredom. Also provides enrichment. So just like we need to use our body and our bones and our muscles, they need to use their brain as well, just like us. That's why we have crossword puzzles. That's why we have all these things and games that we can do we read to enrich our brain and make sure we're still using it. So the dogs need that too. Another thing is confidence building. So what does that do? So you have, let's say, a dog that's afraid of a stranger, right? Or bikes or anything. It really can build confidence by just stepping back. If you have a stranger coming into your house, giving your dog some of that mental stimulation to do, like a stuffed food toy, so they don't have to interact with the scary thing, but they're going to start building confidence, changing that association with whatever they're afraid of. So it definitely helps with that too. It also helps strengthen bonds. So, well, one, what does that mean? If you're with your dog and you're giving them these great things, your dog's gonna really like being with you and being by you. That also is true if you have kids, right? So if you have a baby in a high chair and you give him this great stuffed toy that he can work on, or while your kids are eating that he can work on, he's going to build that positive association and in a way strengthen the bond with those children, those people as well. So what are some things, you know, we throw around mental stimulation. What actually is that? So now I'm using my readers. There are a lot of different things. There's a lot of cheap ways at home too of things that you already have that you can use for mental stimulation. So some of them, let's go over some of the easy ones. Puzzle toys. So puzzle toys you can go on Amazon. You can really go anywhere, any dog store, anywhere that sells dog stuff, you'll find a puzzle. So there's puzzles that there's little levers. There's puzzles that they have to shift things over to like open to get a treat. They all involve food. Why? Because their nose is one of their biggest assets, and half the time we don't allow them to use it. Well, by using their nose, it's really good for their brain and it gets them tired, and it's really good for all of their senses in their body as well. So puzzle toys are a great way, hiding food in them. That's an easy way that they have like different levels, level 1, 2, 3. You'll see the puzzles that are like really hard for your dog in the beginning. They're not going to be so hard once they get to practice them. So what else can we do for puzzle toys? Well, A lot of these things I like to, before, like when I first got into dog training, I didn't buy all these like man-made puzzles. We kind of did them ourselves. So what are things that you can do yourself? One of them is I love, and I post videos about this on social media all the time, is muffin tins. So you can get a regular muffin tin, like a hard muffin tin, or the disposable muffin tins, and a couple things. One, you can make it as easy as just putting treats in all of the little circles there for them to, one, eat slower, have, use their nose to go into each compartment. But then you can do things to make it harder. So I like to get tennis balls. You put the treats in the muffin tin. You put the tennis balls on top of the treats, and your dog has to learn to push the ball away to get the treat. You'd be amazed how fast dogs will do this. Now, some dogs that love tennis balls, they might grab the ball, go play with it. That's fine, but you'll see they'll eventually realize that it's a little puzzle for them to move the balls and get what's inside. And again, it's a cheap, easy way, getting disposable or the regular tin. Now, if your dog eats stuff, like digest it, get the hard, regular muffin tin. If you don't have to worry about that, you get the like cheap, disposable puzzle, soft one that you can use and throw out when you're finished. Another thing that I like to do now, all of these suggestions are dependent on your dog. So if you have a dog that eats everything, right? I'll talk about a snuffle mat in a little bit, but you give them a snuffle mat, which is like a little rug that they can eat from, and they chew and eat the snuffle mat. Well, that's probably not the best puzzle for your dog, right? So this suggestion that I'm going to say is a Gatorade bottle, right? So you take a Gatorade bottle, you untwist the top, you pour treats or even their whole meal in there, and you lay it down on the floor for them. Now the dog has to realize how to hit it with its paw or its nose or grab it and like turn it upside down to get the food. Most of the dogs will not be chewing and eating the bottle. Now, if you have a dog, which there's a lot of them out there that love water bottles to squeeze and chew and destroy, well, this might not be the best puzzle for your dog, but it's a great water bottles, anything you can use. Now, the water bottles have like a smaller top on it, so like smaller opening, so it is harder for the dogs to get out the food. So that's why I say like Gatorade, vitamin water, like that size kind of hole on the top is great for your dog. So again, you unscrew the cap, put the food in, leave the cap off, put it down. Now, a lot of clients will say, is this going to make a mess all over my house? Yes, it's going to, right? There's going to be food sprinkling all over. So give it to them outside. Give it to them even in the grass. So now when the food comes out, it's like they made their own snuffle mat out there and they have to find the food in the grass. But it's an easy way that you can just pour their food in there, pour some treats in there that they can play with it to get out. So another toy that I like to use for do DIY, do it yourself at home, is a lot of people do this. You take like a hand towel. Take the hand towel, you're going to lay it flat, you're going to sprinkle some treats in there, and you're going to tie it in a knot. And you're going to sprinkle some treats, and you can tie another knot. So there's like all these like 2 knots, 1 knot, 3 knots, whatever size towel you're using with the treats in there. The dog will actually learn how to like untie the towel to get the treats. Right? They'll get their nose in it. They'll get their paw in it. It's a great thing for your dog to be able to figure out how to do. Now, if your dog eats towels, socks, clothes, this may not be the best option for you, but you have to know that before. And all of these things need to be with you there, observing, watching what they're doing so that you know that they're not going to ingest it or anything else. So you really do need to know your dog, but these are great options for your dog. Now, dogs, they get bored, they get antsy. There's always something you can find in your house to do. I mean, for them to like make as a puzzle. So I don't know how many people have these anymore, but an ice cube tray. So you can order them very cheap. I like to do ice cube trays. I even do the ones with like fancy, little figures and stuff like that. But I fill it with low sodium chicken broth or bone broth they have for dogs now. They have so many different things. I'll usually put a treat in each ice cube tray. So you have the ice cube tray, you put one little treat, two little treats, and then you're going to fill it with the broth and freeze it. Dogs love this. It's great, especially for puppies, because it's nice and cold on their mouth and they're able to lick it and get the treat that's inside. And guess what? They can smell that treat inside. So you want to make sure you're doing different things like that. And a lot of clients or pet parents that I tell these two things to, they're like, oh my gosh, I like never even thought of it. But once you start seeing things around your house that you can make even more interesting for your dog, it just enriches their life. It makes it better that they're able to do these things. Most people will have bones at their house. Nylabone, for instance, makes like those harder bones that usually have ridges in them. I love those. The ones with the little ridges, I smear with peanut butter, cream cheese, pumpkin, wet food, freeze it, whatever you are okay with and that your dog likes. And again, that's stimulation for them. That's something that they can like work on and do. Now, that's not a puzzle per se, but they're working on it to get all the food out. And a tired dog is a good dog. So you want to make sure you're doing these little things. Trust me, if you have like a 13-year-old dog and you make an ice cube tray or one of these other ideas for your dog, you're going to see your dog get up off the couch and actually be doing things. I mean, we all want our dogs to live as long as they can live, and a lot of them have short lives. So this is a way to enrich their lives, keep them going, and keep them motivated instead of just sleeping all day. So the ice cube tray is like one of my favorite easy things to do. I've actually been, West Paw is a company, they make, it's called the Topple. It's one of my favorite toys. I like it better than a Kong. It like stands up and it has like these little prongs in it. And I know this is like sounds weird, but I mix it with a little bit of white rice and chicken, boiled chicken, and I put some chicken broth in there and I freeze it just a little. And that's something I give my dog when, guests come over or he needs something to do for a longer period of time and he goes bonkers. He carries this thing from room to room and he's busy on it for like 45 minutes. So all of these things, especially if you have a really smart breed that's like really fast and really food motivated, some of these things you're going to be like, oh, I gave him the muffin tin. It was 5 minutes that he took. So find things that are going to take longer. Freezing always helps with any of these things. So there's also, if you go online and look at food dispensing toys, there are tons, thousands and thousands of different toys, things that you can use. Now, a lot of the food dispensing toys, so for instance, it could be a ball, you put treats in, roll it around, the treats fall out. Those are all great, but you can make a lot of these things yourself, like the Gatorade bottle that I suggested. But food dispensing toys, things that you can fill with food to take your dog, let your dog work on it. It's very satisfying. I mean, how satisfying. I know I used to do Sudoku or whatever the heck game was called with the numbers. When I first learned how to do it, first I felt super dumb because I did not know how to do it. And I had to do super easy ones. And then I was able to move harder and harder. And I guess it was like the big thing at the top. I used to do it all the time and I would feel so accomplished, so satisfied using my brain when I did it. That's how your dogs feel after they like complete these things. It's like, I did it. Even if it's like food at the bottom of a food toy. Have you ever tried to like something stuck in something, or you drop something in your car, like in the middle of the seat, and you're just trying to get it out, and you're like literally pinching your fingers so small to get it out? And not that that's a game that we want to play, but it's very satisfying to get whatever you need and feel accomplished for that. Now, for your dogs too, even a food toy, they're like working on it. It's just very satisfying for them, and also just stimulates their brain in doing things like that. So a lot of these things are well, I am a lazy dog owner. I train dogs all day. My dog goes to school almost every day. He stays home sometimes, but the last thing I'm going to go home and do right now is train my dog. But that's why I have these other things that don't include me for mental stimulation. But there are a lot of things that do include you that you can do. So any training game, so any obedience, I mean, even obedience is a game for your dog, right? It's like, think of for kids, red light, green light, or Simon Says, or all these games that they have to think, they have to work. It's same with your dog when you're doing these obedience cues. It's super fun for them, super stimulating. And that's something that you can actually do with your dog, bonding with your dog, using food, motivating them. But not everybody always wants to do the training games, but they are great. Even 5 minutes of obedience a day with your dog is stimulation for them. So a lot of people don't even do 5 minutes. I tell my clients do 2 minutes a day. 2 minutes of this stimulation training obedience with your dog will be so great for your dog to have that consistency every day. If you can't do 2 minutes as a dog owner, then get a cat, right? Because everybody can do 2 minutes of work. So if you're a lazy dog owner like me, I at least do 2 minutes. I do it in like my everyday things. I have them sit and wait for the food. I do 2 minutes. So start simple. Train with your dog 2 minutes a day. It's very stimulating for, even if it's a senior dog, have them do simple things like just a watch me cue where they have to give you that focus, or a touch where they just have to touch their nose on your hand, or using a target stick. All of these things are great things that keep your dogs going. Some other things that I love to do is I do like interactive play when I am not being lazy with my dog. So what does that mean? Tug. So tug, you can have your dog tug the toy, drop it, wait for it. What I like to do for interactive games is I love using the flirt pole. So a flirt pole is a pole, looks like a fishing pole, with like a string at the end, not really a string, but a stronger rope, and you tie a toy at the end. So my dog loves chasing this thing, but I'm not just chasing it aimlessly around the yard, running around with it. He needs to sit, he needs to wait, he needs to, take, and then I will play with the toy. Then he needs to drop, he needs to sit or go to his place. So even 5 minutes, it's a great way to not only use his brain. You want to play this toy, then you have to follow the rules. Following the rules is sitting, waiting, doing all of those things. So you guys that have dogs that are super toy motivated, you need to be able to practice structure play with your dog. It's also stimulation for them, that mental stimulation that they really want, that tennis ball. It's like the chuck it, right? We just keep throwing and throwing. Add a little oomph into your game. Add a little sit, wait. When you're going to pull the ball back, he's still waiting. Tell him okay to go get it. So all these little things you can add that do not take a lot of extra time in your life, but it will enhance your dog's life. Same with like the tug that they have to drop, they have to sit, they have to wait, and then tug. All of these little things. I have a lot of these on my social media, and I'll post more because I think it's super important that we just, if you're doing these activities anyway, if you play ball with your dog every day, add these things in. You can get so much obedience and work done and stimulation with your dog, adding these things into what you're already doing. It'll really make a difference with your canines. So this is like something that's near and dear to my heart is canine nose work or scent work. So I am a certified nose work instructor through the NACSW. It's an amazing organization. So if you want to know more about nose work or scent work, NACSW, the National Association for Canine Scent Work, is what it stands for. So I'm a CNWI, a certified nose work instructor. So nose work is the ultimate mental stimulation for your dog, in my opinion. You can do it simple ways, which I'll explain, or you can actually compete in this. You dog people out there that are really into agility and really love doing stuff with their dog, Nose work is an amazing activity that you can do that your dog loves. Dogs love to sniff. I mean, how many of us say, oh, my dog isn't so annoying. All he does is sniff on the whole. It is annoying. It's super annoying. But what is that telling us? Like, that's your dog telling you he needs to do that. They need to sniff. So let's give an outlet for them. And nose work does just that. So I usually say nose work is agility for the mind, right? It does build confidence. It's like problem solving, and they solve all these problems. The great thing about nose work is it is a team sport once you get into it, but it's independent of the dog. We want the dog independently searching. So he's solving these problems without mommy or daddy saying, it's right here, it's right here. They're actually using their nose, solving the problems, getting that reward right away, that success of the food, and then being able to solve another problem. And then we're making it harder and harder. So how can we start nose work? So if you go to NACSW, the real way to do nose work, or one way to do nose work, is you start with boxes. So you can do this at home too, just for fun. You would get 6 to 8, 5 to 7 cardboard boxes, empty, shoe boxes, shoe lids, whatever you want. And you're going to put them, say, scatter them in your living room. You're going to put food in them. So first, we just want this to be an indicator that your dog is searching, that boxes mean that there could be food in them and that they could search. So I'm probably going to do a whole episode on nose work because it gets a little more complicated, but literally you can just start by hiding boxes in your house, in the room, pretty easy at first with food in it. Your dog is going to see the boxes and know that that's an indicator that he's playing this game. And you'd be amazed how good your dog gets at finding the treats in the boxes. Now, you don't have to use boxes. If you're going to do nose work, I tell people to start like inside, small room, hide some cookies in there. Super easy. Even if it's like a trail and you hide a couple harder ones, your dog will find it. I'm not sure if you ever saw I am sure. If you ever saw your dog, there's like, my dog is like going like scratching underneath the dryer, going crazy, scratching for that one piece of food that probably fell under there last January. And he like caught a whiff of it for whatever reason, and now he needs to get it. Or a piece of food goes under the couch. Like, your dog's nose is unbelievable. So it's a great way to hide cookies in your house that give them an activity to do. I love doing this too. If your dog has free reign in your house when you leave, hide cookies around your house. Give them something to do instead of just sitting there. It's amazing, and they love that activity. Another thing you can do, if you're lucky enough to have a yard, outside, do it too. So a lot of dogs have issues barking, fence chasing, doing different things, digging that they shouldn't outside. Hiding cookies is a great way to get them not to do that. So I remember this a couple weeks ago, but I worked years ago with a family that had a golden. And the golden was, anytime they'd play ball with him out in the backyard, anytime they'd play ball with him, he'd get so overstimulated, he'd start jumping on them and mouthing them. So like from playing ball, he would get so crazy to the point that they were not playing ball with him outside anymore. They would only walk him on a leash outside. They had a beautiful fenced-in yard. So they called me, and I, assess the situation. I'm like, well, this is crazy. Like, let's try and do a little bit of nose work with him. So how we started was the dog's inside, I'm outside. They have a slider, which is the best way to start because you want the dog to see you, right? They don't know the game right away. Took some cookies. I like using like harder cookies, like little milk bones or something. And I have the dog watching me, and I do super easy hides, meaning right, like a trail right in front of the dog, like behind the glass. So as soon as he comes out, he's going to start getting those cookies, and he's going to know the game is on. And I would put a couple of cookies a little bit farther in the grass, not super hard, but a little bit farther so he can search a little bit. Now, the dog, as soon as he come out, he's going to be motivated to look and search. Now, Goldens in particularly, I don't even know if that's a word, particularly, whatever it is, they are great searchers, and they're really motivated by food if you have a golden and the sun's coming in, so don't mind that. So it's very easy to hide food in the backyard for the dog. So you hide the food, you open that slider, you don't have to say anything, and they just go crazy and go to find it. The dog stopped all those crazy behaviors, and they did this every day for the dog. So now he had a job to do, a fun thing to do outside, and he stopped doing those bad behaviors of grabbing the dogs. And for whatever reason, it was just overstimulating him, and he needed something that can bring him down a little, but was still mentally stimulating for him, which was the nose work. So I love doing nose work in the yard with the dogs. Some other easier things you can do is like outdoor exploration. Let your dogs sniff around outside. Give them the chance to sniff. So a lot of my pet parents will say, oh, we're going on a sniffy walk. This is a regular walk, and then we're going on a short sniffy walk. I love that. Go out with the purpose of letting your dogs do whatever the hell they want, sniffing around for them. Like it's their walk, their time to do a little exploration, and just follow your dog. See what they're into, see what they want to smell. It's great for their brain. Now, that's not going to be every walk, right? Again, that's kind of annoying every single walk, but it's great to have those little sniffy walks for your dog, 5-10 minutes, whatever you give that you can go out there and let them explore. Another like easy thing that you can do is rotate toys. So it's so funny. I always hear puppy owners, they'll say, oh, my dog, he's still biting me. He has 30 million toys all over the house. Well, sometimes when you have like too many things, it's a little overwhelming and overstimulating for your dog. So I like to rotate toys. So have some toys out, switch them out every week, put the new toys out, right? So it's okay to buy your dog new toys, but if they don't see that toy for a while, or if it's their favorite toy or one of their favorite toys and you switch them out with other favorite toys, it's going to be super exciting for your dog, and they're going to be more inclined to want to play with those toys. Your dog doesn't need 60 toys laying around when he's like not even playing with one. So make sure you're rotating your toys to make sure that that's stimulating for your dog. I was like, I'm just going to do like a short podcast so that I can just tell you guys what to do for some of these things. There are so many other ideas that you can think of in your own house. Like I said, I kind of look around if I go to your house, I can probably find 10 different things you can do with your dogs without going to the store. Like a Tupperware lid that has grooves in it. Smear stuff on there, freeze it, or don't, like your own licky mat that they can do. Oh, I didn't mention licky or sniffy snuffle mats. Yeah, those are my two favorite. My dogs use those daily. So I kind of mentioned the snuffle a little bit. The snuffle mat is a mat that has the one that I love. You'll see on my like Instagram, TikTok, all of that all the time. It has like 4 little bowls, and it's just kind of like a shaggy rug that you like sprinkle food or treats in there. Dogs go crazy going to town looking for those. It's almost like you're making your own like grass snuffle mat. It's like all, like I said, like a rug that you can kind of hide stuff in. Some dogs will pick it up and shake it. I always tell my clients, who cares? They're still having fun. They're still getting stimulated. They're still, having a blast with that. I don't use food bowls for my dogs. I feed them either scattering the food, putting it in the snuffle mat, doing something different with it, freezing it in a bowl every morning. My dog gets his breakfast in that West Paw topple that I was talking about. So I never use a food bowl. I use the snuffle mat instead, and I do have it out for when my dog's driving me a little bit crazy. I have my treats there. I sprinkle some treats on there, and he goes to town on it for 15, 20 minutes, and he's more relaxed after. The other thing is the licky mat. A lick mat, they're everywhere. If you guys don't have a snuffle or a lick mat, you got to join the program, because it's number one things that you have to have to use with your dog daily. So the lick mat, again, it's a mat. I love using this in the car for dogs that are barking in the car, doing different things, peanut butter, wet food, cream cheese, pumpkin. The list, yogurt, the list goes on and on. You can freeze it, not freeze it. Just little tiny grooves. Again, you put any of those things on there, freeze it or not, and give it to your dog. It's a great, again, your dog will go to town on it. He'll be stimulated. He'll be tired. And also, it's finding an alternate behavior for your dog. So dogs that are bored and dogs that don't get much stimulation, those are going to be the ones that are barking. Those are going to be the ones that are annoying you. Those are going to be the ones that, seem constantly active because they're not getting enough of that mental stimulation. So the licky mat, snuffle mat, all these other things help them do that. Like I said, I can probably find 10 things in your house that when I go to homes, I'll say, oh, you can take this, spread peanut butter on this, freeze it. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, you can use this Tupperware lid. You can do this. So many different things that you can do. I think the main point of today is your dogs crave, want this mental stimulation daily, every day. Don't feed your dog in the bowls. Use it for 5 different toys that they can use throughout the day, eating from, getting their toy that has been frozen with a little bit of chicken broth and their food in it, and that they can use these toys throughout the day for that mental stimulation. I think it's super important for our senior dogs, very important for our puppies, and every dog in between. So try your best, pick something daily of all of these things and many more that you can do with your dogs to keep them stimulated. It will make a healthier, happy pet. So you can find or listen to our podcast on anywhere you can find podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, Audible. We do have it on video on our YouTube channel. It's Barks to Basics, but also follow our social media, Barks to Basics. We are going to be doing Dynamite Dog Training and Lucky Dog Training Club. Any of those on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We are going to be doing another, which I think we're posting soon. It was Q&A with J&A. So Amanda, who's my trainer that works for me, that heads my service dog and therapy dog department, we took all questions from social media and answered your questions. So we're going to be looking at the Barks to Basics and Instagram and all of that for your questions. You can even hashtag Barks to Basics, even in your comments or private message. So we pick your comment to answer, but that's going to be a super exciting part of our show that we're going to do every month. So thank you for listening. Again, this is Jamie Diaz with Barks to Basics. We'll see you next time.